Hello world, welcome back to another DownUnderCTF 2022 write-up video. In this video, we'll be walking through the DFIR challenge shop knock knock knock. Let's get into it. Looks like there's been a brute force / password spray attempt against the website. What's the contact email for the ISP of the attacker's IP? Flag format is email address, case insensitive. So in the previous challenge, which unlocked these other shop challenges, I forgot to show you something very important that we need to do when we're ingesting the JSON data in order to kind of get proper output on where we can index it and search it properly without it being too cluttered. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. So let's go back to our Splunk and let's redo our data input. We'll do files and directories, add new. And then we want to browse to it, of course. Sure to select that, and then remember to do index once and then next. Now here's the part that I want to show you that we need to kind of modify to kind of get what we want it to show up. So before I showed you that we select JSON node timestamp, but that's only half the battle. When we index this, it's going to have these giant blocks of 257 lines of data that we'd have to look at. And that's a lot to look at in one go. Nobody wants to do that. So we can actually parse these events out in a way that we get just each one of these individual pieces as an event. Because right now it's saying this whole giant one right here is one event. And the way we can do that is by first going to event breaks, and we want to do regex. And then the pattern has to be a subgroup, which means it needs to be surrounded in parentheses, or a capturing group rather. And what we can do is actually specify the closing and opening brace right here, separated by a space, inside the capture group like so. Now it only shows 2 because let's make sure to do timestamp on auto extraction. And then we also want to do every line, and then we want to do regex like so. For whatever reason, I have to do every line first, or get it to parse every line and then do the regex in order for it to parse properly. But that essentially is what you want to do, and now you're just getting small chunks each time of each little request event, right, that's captured in the JSON log data. So now we're going to press next, and we want to save it, and then we're going to call it something else. We're going to call it JSON_shop instead. And I did this previously, so that's why it already exists, so we'll go ahead and override it anyways. And then you can just click review and then submit. Now we're going to click Start Searching. And now we have it all parsed out. Now, the challenge is saying there's a password spray attempt against the website. Okay, so we know based off of the JSON data here that there's GET and POST requests potentially, just based on what we see here with the HTTP methods that we see in these fields. So what we can do is specify another search term up here as password, because that seems like a keyword that we can use to filter by. Now, the reason I'm surrounding it in asterisks is because those are wildcards, which means that there can be any amount of text before or after, kind of like the equivalent of a dot asterisk in regex. So let's press enter. And then we see a bunch of change password requests. And if you keep scrolling down, we'll probably see, yep, your shop.downunderctf.com password has been changed. So the hacker was probably submitting different passwords, trying to guess the right one before he finally got it and was able to change the password to whatever he wanted it to be. So all we really need to do is just expand one of these events and look at the IP address, the origin IP address. And we see that it's 58.164.62.91. We can copy that into Google to find the ISP data associated with it. And the one I used was this ipinfo.io link right here. And then I just scrolled down to .91, which is our address accordingly. And if you look, we see that the ISP is Telstra Internet, owned by Telstra Corporation Ltd. And then we can even see the email address that they use right here, abuse@telstra.net. And I wasn't quite sure if that was it or not, so I went ahead and submitted it earlier. That's why you see it as solved, because I wasn't quite sure if this was the right address to use or not, but it is indeed the address you want to use. So make sure you just paste it in and submit. All right, If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. Turn on post notifications to get regular injections of cyber content directly into your feed. Check out our Patreon, join our Discord, and follow us on Twitter. Links in the description box down below. And leave any feedback or questions in the comment section down below. This is Almond Milk. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.